pretty much every step of the way.
That's right. And it's a little unfortunate for Forsen fans because I know a lot of them have came onto the stream and were hoping that he'd do it, but it is a lot about what you think your opponent's going to pick to lead off the series, and that's what players like Tides, Strife Crow, a lot of them attribute their success to their series win percentages because of how they protect their opponent. This also carries over to guys like RDU and Firebet as well. So a good start for D2 if he can get the proper start going. Undertaker, Mad Scientist is great, but Freeze Mage can deal with that pretty easily. There's lots of spells at their arsenal.
The other thing that can help deal with it really easily is just Doomsayer. So like a turn 1 Undertaker into a turn 2 Mad Scientist here can just be met with Doomsayer sometimes, and that's going to shut it down.
Sure. I don't mind that too, because Doomsayer turn 2 and then into Arcane Intellect turn 4, Loot Hoarder and Ping still also orders things correctly, but you also have Frost Nova Doomsayer, so you have synergy there. You can keep it without having to use.
He's even got 2 Death Rattle minions to put this out of reach of attacking in with the Loot Hoarder and pinging.
Oh man, Arcane Intellect feels really bad, and Forsen not going for turn 2 Doomsayer is going to sting pretty badly.
Yeah, instead he's going to wait till he can freeze and take control of the board that way. So he's going to suffer some early damage, but the Ice Barrier really going to be soaking up a lot, and then of course the 2 Sludge Belchers. D2's hand looks a little bit more scaling based instead of just like really big burst damage. If this makes a Huffer, he's going to be in trouble though.
Oh man.
Oh jeez. Oh, that is bad news for Forsen. Oh, the BM is already starting between the 2 of these guys. They are riled up. Alright, so Doomsayer, this is going to effectively just act as a 7-point gain if D2 chooses to play it that way. I don't know if it's going to. This is a lot of damage to forego if you choose to do that.
He's even got Lothab. This game can be over so quickly. Oh
wow, he's going to choose to take out the Doomsayer.
Okay, so that's good news, in fact, for Forsen. Because now he's got Frost Nova Doomsayer. My control tech is gonna have to sit this one out. Maybe next turn though, if his Doomsayer goes down. So there is a backup option here. Ooh, the fact that he also loses Mad Scientist off his freezing trap is more painful, and he also gives another charge to the bow.
Freeze Doomsayer is doing a little bit of work here though, so it's gonna help sustain him just a tiny bit, but I don't know how much it's gonna actually affect this game. I'm curious if there's any merit to like playing Sludge Belcher just to get a 1-2 on the board. I don't think there is. I think it's strictly worse than just hero powering. And I would play Mad Scientist as well, just to get the secrets out of my deck. Like you don't want to draw them in the Hunter's position here. You just want to be drawing business and pushing for damage. So he's playing this Mad Scientist strictly just to thin out his deck and go from there.
Meanwhile, I'm still surprised Forsen gave another charge to this bow and willingly attacked with the Mad Scientist in.
Yeah.
Lost his own secret too.
A little bit surprising.
Now he's almost dead to so many things.
Yeah, I feel like this mind control tech needs to come out. He just needs bodies on the board right now to start stemming some amount of damage his opponent's going to deal. So if D2 thinks that this secret is an Ice Barrier, he shouldn't be really attacking with this bow this turn. But without any information of what it is,
I mean, it's a really safe assumption it's Ice Block because he's so close to dying.
Yeah.
Even then, you still can just save your bow charge. Still, no need to attack into it.
Yep. Frostbolt. All right, so Forsen may actually be able to start piecing something together here. He gets good news that he can actually attack his opponent's face now, so he's not like completely out of it. Sludge Belcher's going to buy him a little bit of time.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good idea to actually ping this Savannah Hyman in.
It's the right call, too, because there is Black Knight. And it's not over yet. If he draws Flare, it is over. But getting through this getting through this 1-2 is really important. The fact that he's able to use a Black Knight.
Yep.
Now, the Ice Barrier will pop. It means it's not going to be Ice Block and be popped. And there's still a chance for Forsen to grab something with Mad Scientist, or even Flame Strike and kill.
Gosh. This is going to be really tough.
So he's got to use his freeze here, right?
Well, he's got 2 of them, so I mean, he could potentially freeze both of these.
Right.
I feel like with the way that the game is going, though, he wants that damage to be invested into his opponent's face. I don't know if he has that much time.
Flame Strike, you have to wait till next turn. Mad Scientist. I think Sludge Belcher is your best option. He already did play Black Knight.
The question is if you play around something like a silence effect from your opponent. Like, that's really the big deal. Is like, if his opponent has a silence and he doesn't freeze, he is dead this turn. But I feel like if he freezes this turn, like, how is he actually going to kill his opponent? That's what I'm wondering. And it feels to me like he's kind of thinking about the same thing. Like, he feels very reluctant to freeze. To me, if he does freeze, he should freeze the Hymen, of course. So still some potential.
Okay, so he's gonna Flame Strike next turn, right?
Yeah, he's trying to set up a Flame Strike with this.
But then Lotheb, does it shut him out of the game if he does that? No, because he can't push through the Sludge Belcher. This is where Sludge Belcher is really key.
Yeah, he actually should just be playing his own Sludge Belcher here. Oh, this is tough.
Really tight.
So Frostbolt's going to be hitting this Savannah Hymen, I think.
Is he gonna Flame Strike this?
If he's gonna Flame Strike this, yeah, I don't know if I like this play, because you can Frostbolt the Savannah Hymen, attack the Sludge Belcher into the Sludge Belcher, and then Flame Strike, which is gonna clear out the tokens and the 1/2.
Right. And then you can you're completely right about this.
Yeah. You could also, this is an alternative too. You can just freeze this board and ping down one of these 2 other guys. Yeah, and then just use Frost Nova to buy himself an extra turn. That's unreasonable. But the hero powers, I mean, this is really trimming the amount of time he has to be able to even try to win this game. So the issue is not only does he have to find a way to actually kill his opponent or stay alive for a couple of turns, but he has to fend off this attack and then also launch an attack on his opponent.
But if it does survive and Mad Scientist can go off, then he does have an opportunity next turn. Antonidas gives him some range, but I don't know if he can kill. He needs Antonidas to guarantee a 2-turn kill. Mad Scientist might be one of his better options here, because a Flame Strike needs to go for big damage across the board.
Yeah, just running out of time. Well, he triggers a Snake Trap.
Sure, it's the same exact thing, anyways.
Okay, here we go. I actually like this a lot.
It was gonna be doing this anyways, except he did. I guess he did give up his Mind Control tech for instead of like Flame Striking first and then killing off the 1/2 body.
It's fine. Lotheb here is probably gonna shut it out though.
Oh, he doesn't have another set Frost Nova. That should do it. The Lotheb is a shutdown unless he gets Ice Block. Ice Block is another chance.
That would be it though. Yep.
No, he still can ping. He can still ping.
He can still suicide the
Yep.
the Mad Scientist.
Exactly. What does he get? It's a duplicate. Ice Block.
Ice Block. I think, does he jam down Archmage here?
I suppose
trying to soak up more damage.
Does it really matter though?
I mean,
next turn you're Flame Striking, right?
Yeah, you're never gonna be able to play this if you don't play Archmage though. Like, when are you ever gonna have 7 mana available again? All right, so just kind of blind hope that your opponent does this wrong, and then also doesn't kill your Archmage. Looks pretty tough to mess this one up, though.
I don't... Yeah, all you have to do is just get him down really low. Just hero powered. He still has to kill you next turn. Forsen could hypothetically, like, draw into another Ice Block into Alex Straza of some sort. Still really easy to close out here from D2.
Yeah. Gonna take him down to just 1 life left. That would be one of the ways to have that. Is Archmage gonna live this turn now? Oh, okay. Black Knight. For whatever reason, I thought Black Knight had attacked this turn already. I was like, maybe one of the ways he actually loses this one. All right, so I don't know how he gets out of this at all. Like, it's so unreasonable to be able to climb back from this. He needs an ice block. He needs a flame strike. He needs to not die. He needs to actually deal his opponent 23 points of damage. As much as I would love to find the excitement in this game, it frankly just isn't there. And that's going to do it. Once again, D2 has lined up Hunter into Forsen's Mage, pulling ahead in a lead and has a lot of momentum on his side now.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think so.
You pretty much need it in every single one of these matchups, it feels like. Yeah, D2 should definitely be looking for death rattles once he's got Undertaker.
Oh, he does run Unleash the Hounds.
D2 is the one with the Unleash the Hounds. That's what we were.
Yeah.
Not number guy.
Nope. And D2, once again, with another poor start. You know, as much as we've been talking about how D2 has been able to take the game in the series, it feels like his starts generally have been extremely weak.
Some of them have been, yes. And some of them, it's like polarized. Like, he either has like pretty
Right.
weak starts or he has really strong starts. And regardless of which, he's actually been winning the games. So that does make a difference. Picks up a death rattle, but silence already active on the board.
Yeah, this is
that
good.
That feels so brutal to play web spin around just to the board that way.
Nope. But feels good for Forsen. He's able to snipe off and clear the board. That's important. You know, it's not Fiery War Axe, but I think this is the next best option. Stabilize, kill off Undertaker, have board control.
You know, Jungle Panther's actually a pretty good pickup in this matchup because the stealth means it's not going to get removed by very much, so this is actually almost always 4 points of damage.
Yeah, and then how do they remove it? They have to use a minion or their own face for the weapon, and that's 8 damage. It's just basically a delayed Huffer in a sense.
Yep. Suspended Huffer.
The suspended Huffer.
Crouching Huffer. Hidden Taskmaster.
Yeah, we'll work on that joke after the game. But you had some good stuff in there. We'll reevaluate and make sure to get the next one going pretty good, all right? We'll play some best of fives with jokes.
Okay,
D2 has Sludge Belcher, right? So this is pretty good momentum on his side.
Yeah.
He's starting to do damage every single time.
That's such an awful draw right now. I wonder what his secret he got was. So the secret he got wasn't Snake Trap. That's what we know. Because he was able to play Snake Trap from his hand. So we assume it's Freezing Trap at this point. We haven't seen Explosive Trap from him, I don't think, have we?
I don't recall. I know Number Guy was playing Freezing Trap. I know Lothar was playing Freezing Trap. Or sorry, Explosive Trap.
Forsen going to choose to play Armor Smith before he uses this Whirlwind effect, really valuing the 1 HP.
1 HP does matter.
Yeah.
Does he Shield Slam? I guess not. He has armor. He has the armor that he does now, plus he can Shield Block, Shield Slam, so he feels comfortable with keeping the Shield Slam right now, especially since an impending High Main is coming here.
Yep. Savannah High Main. This is the nightmare spot for most warriors. It's having to fight through this.
Ooh.
Picks up a Win-X.
So, is there a way to do this without Shield Block? Okay. Well, I guess he's going to answer. Like, if you attacked into the 1-2 and then armored up Shield Slam, you would have still gotten... Like, you wouldn't have to use Shield Block.
Sure.
But I guess in this case, you still can use Fiery War Axe. So, maybe...
What do you think of using Cruel? What do you think of using Cruel Taskmaster there? And then is it too much to risk into a Freezing Trap? Like, say he Cruel Taskmaster is the Armor Smith and attacks.
Well, yeah, I think it does, because the Armor Smith you want to stick on the board, right?
I think so. If it's Freezing Trap and you make that line of play, you're gonna... I mean, you lose a lot of momentum that way.
Here's a nice thing, though. Double Armor Smith.
Wow, that's a lot of pressure on the board. I would be very surprised if the command wasn't used.
Yeah, there's ways for it to get past. If there wasn't and you had to crash the gates the hard way, that is one method Forsen can run away with the game. How do you do this?
I would just be shocked if there was no... I mean, I guess we can just calculate how much life you give him. So, Hunter's Mark, 1-2, attack into the 1-2, 3-4, attack into the other Armorsmith. Oh yeah, this would just be way too much. I think you just have to... I think Kill Command's definitely got to come out here. I don't mind using Unleash the Hounds. You don't have a lot of follow-up game versus Brawl as it is, so just any Brawl is going to be kind of bad for you. And as much as you don't want to influence your opponent brawling here, again, you just don't have a follow-up to it, so I think it's just fine.
A bit of hesitation, but I think so too. I think you need to get that damage, and Unleash the Hounds is not that useful in this matchup traditionally anyways. Warrior rarely gets to play a big full board of stuff compared to Shaman or Paladin or any other class that naturally fills it up. Especially as the game develops, they're going to be dropping 1 or 2 creatures. So I think using it now is also okay. Uh-oh, is there a problem? Because Forsen's waiting for action, and D2 looks like on his perspective has played the Unleash the Hounds. Oh, Forsen was disconnecting.
All right, so we're trying to reconnect to the game right now.
Whoa, and suddenly doggies.
Wow,
wait,
so D2 disconnected on his turn. So D2 disconnected on his turn and his time ran out. So
that's so
the game has
bad.
reconnected. Yeah, the game is reconnected, and Forsen has basically gotten a free turn, and he's got 2 Armorsmiths out. This is so bad.
You have to feel bad for D2. Wow. Oh no, it seems like he's completely disconnected.
Yep.
That is really unfortunate. You know, this happened in the previous series, didn't it? At least for these two guys. Once again, Warrior versus Hunter, a Golden Hunter portrait. But this is not D2's account, it's Powder's account. It's one of his buddies, his teammate, who also performed well at Seed Story Cup. And this time around, Forsen is well equipped, so to speak, to handle any Undertaker pressure.
Yeah, not going to be Undertaker pressure, but certainly pressure nonetheless. God, both these players with pretty fantastic hands, too.
Yeah, if you don't have Undertaker, I feel like just having good card draw is one of the best replacements for it.
Oh, wow. That might have been the best draw in his deck.
I think so. What else is better than Armorsmith on turn 2 to answer a small 1-1?
He does have a couple of questions in front of him now, though. Is it just want to put minions on the board, or does he actually want to answer this with the Evil Horn Bow straight away?
Well, I think Forsen's also going to introduce another element of trying to make his opponent uncomfortable with an Acolyte of Pain. So if you go for the Evil Horn Bow, which do you snipe? The card draw or the armor gain?
Probably the card draw. I mean, that's one of the hardest ways for you to actually pick back up from the game is if the warrior just gets too strong of a lead. Hogurk joins the hand. D2 picked up Tundra Rhino from Web Spinner, but this is not as beast-centric deck as we've seen in the past. Oh, wow, he gets Ironbeak Owl to deny a trap as well.
That's excellent. You know, if he gets another Web Spinner and he gets really powerful creatures like, you know, Core Hound and the Beast, this Tundra Rhino can do some work.
The Beast.
Yep.
It'd be beastly this game. That was a tough joke to make.
Yeah. I'm just going to let that one sink in for a little bit. In the meantime, Forsen did end up losing his Armorsmith, but at the cost of double weapon charges against the Acolyte as well as the Armorsmith. So Forsen sitting at a very comfortable health.
Yeah, it's going
turn 6, and he's 25 health.
Yeah, not too much happening in the way of making decisions. Outside of the Eagle Horn Bow, everything's been pretty straightforward so far. Forsen's had a very strong curve, really well mulliganed. Same on D2's side. It's just, you know, the cards for Warrior, the way they match up against Hunter, when both of you draw really well, I think that the Warrior's got a pretty distinct advantage coming into it. And we can actually also see that D2 doesn't have a Savannah Hyman available, so it's likely to put a pretty big dent in his board. in the next couple of turns. If he doesn't manage to draw one next turn, it's going to look really bad.
I don't foresee a way for D2 to easily deal with this other than just trying to answer Sludge Belcher with his own Sludge Belcher.
Yep.
Of course,
I think that's what you should be doing.
Crossing your fingers and hoping your opponent doesn't have Black Knight or something equivalent to just completely ruin your day.
Yeah.
Huh.
A pretty heads-up play here, too. This is actually... I like this a lot because if there's a Whirlwind effect, like D2 doesn't know Forsen's deck 100%. No, we're going to zoom in on Hogger because he's a beast. Not exactly a beast. He doesn't even make beasts. He just makes gnolls, which I don't even think have...
They're creatures of some kind.
I don't know if they have creature types attached to them. They're creatures nonetheless. Anyway, so he wants to run in the Leopard on there to play around like Whirlwind effects. So, say that like it would have gotten like swept away in something. That's just 2 less damage he would have had onto the Sludge Belcher, and now his Sludge Belcher is directly contesting his opponent. So, a little bit of a difference being made there.
Wow. There's also Baron Geddon to help sweep. There's also Cool Taskmaster and Death Spite on the following turn to help pick apart the board. Tundra Rhino to get through the 1-2.
And Snake Trap as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be curious how Forsen chooses to do this.
I think he's going to have to evaluate because now he doesn't have the taunts to protect Hogger. There will be one that's after the end of this turn. But now this Tundra Rhino won't die. If he had Execute to reach through, that'd be so nice and convenient. But now things are slightly uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's got to think about what the traps are, too.
Snake Trap.
This is like one of the bad news ones right now. This is going to help push through and make sure that that Hogger's taken care of. Which isn't like one of the worst things in the world. I mean, he's going to be at a pretty healthy life total. Yeah, I like attacking here as well. Oh, he's going to try to shut down as much as he can. If D2 draws a beast, he's going to be able to handle this. But outside of that, chewing through this gnoll.
Man, if he gets like a Savannah High Main.
Oh, geez. Savannah High Mob has shown up and is about to rain terror on this position.
Well,
he's got to be really careful on how he chooses to do this, though, because if he messes this up, he won't deal his opponent as much damage, and then just the Baron Geddon will be able to clean it up. He doesn't know, of course, his opponent doesn't have Baron Geddon, but it's certainly a legendary that you can expect from some of your warrior opponents, and should be in mind when you're going into a turn like this. This turn is extremely, extremely tough to navigate from a very subtle standpoint. It's just like that one little thing to think about. Like if he goes into his opponent's turn, he's like, "Oh, I didn't think about Baron Geddon." It can almost quite literally cost him the game at this point.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a mistake I think he wanted to avoid too. Yeah, this is going to be really good for Forsen now. This just went from like a disaster to being very easily recoverable.
Yep, because now Baron Geddon cleans up shop. Well, you know, originally we thought, I mean, how do you necessarily calculate that, the odds of him having it versus the risk and reward of keeping Hogger up?
I think it's
a hard call to make.
Well, he can kill the Hogger that way. He should have put the he should have sacrificed his Tundra Rhino is what he should have done. He should have put the Savannah Highmane into
2-2.
Yeah, into the taunt and then gone the other way. But this is like, it's like, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack for people telling me that I'm coming from an ultimate perspective, but like, look at how this scenario unfolds when Baron Geddon is your opponent's play. It's almost unwinnable. It's like, how does he recover from this circumstance? He had Loot Hoarder and Lotheb in his hand, so he needs to be thinking about all of his opponent's potential counterplays when he does it, not necessarily just like whatever is the most straight up efficient play.
Okay, Forsen has good counter options to try to shut down what his opponent's doing on the following turn with Lotheb. I wonder if Gromosh can also come out here. What do you think?
I would tend to play the Lotheb here, I think.
Okay. He is thinking about it, but just to cover your bases, as much as the play might seem obvious. Oh, Gromosh.
Yeah, so he doesn't. So Grommack's going to hit the board. He actually doesn't have to attack with it. This 2 damage is going to trigger Enrage. 17. Oh, I guess this is.
I suppose it's a lethal.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't accounting for the 2 damage that Baron was actually dealing to face. This makes way more sense.
Sure. And that's not going to do it. He has no way to stop this damage. That's going to do it for game number 2. So all's well that ends well, I suppose. Forsen almost got a DC win, but ends up earning it the right way. And now the series has been tied up.
Which is really going to come down to whether or not he can put together Mountain Giant and Twilight Drakes early on. And Shield Slam. I'm really surprised he chooses to mulligan Shield Slam here, actually.
He knows this is handlock, right?
I mean, he has to know.
I mean, a few times in the past, Forsen got completely destroyed because he wasn't expecting Zoo and he pushed away his Fiery War Axe.
Oh, gosh, at WCA.
Right.
Oh, geez, that was brutal. 2 Mountain Giants in D2's hand straight away.
Well, he's got a way to activate his Execute now.
I like developing the War Axe. I mean, once you decide to mulligan the Shield Slam, you should be developing War Axe, I think.
Okay.
He's got 2 ways to activate his Execute. And Mountain Giant's going to hit the board this turn. Forsen hasn't answered the first one, but the second one likely to be troublesome.
Hogger not going to be it. But I don't really expect Hogger to have much impact in this matchup anyways. It's very easy for Handlock to deal with that card.
Doesn't seem like the best card. It's like, oh, I'll have to Shadow Flame my Ancient Watcher and kill everything that you have.
Even if you let Hogger build up for 4 turns.
Yeah. Second Mountain Giant. Does Forsen have Big Game Hunter in this deck?
I want to say yes. Because we've seen it in the past. Remember he had the cool Taskmaster, his Big Game Hunter? So I think he does.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have it right now. Maybe that was what he was mulliganing for, too.
What do you think about just jamming Hogger down this turn?
Let's see. Turn 6, your opponent can Siphon the Soul, Shadow Flame, and Ancient Watch. I don't know. There's a lot of things your opponent can do to make that backfire.
A lot of thoughts. It's just, this is going to be so. This damage is going to add up so quickly. Oh, he's got Faceless Manipulator on the Mountain Giant too. It's about what I expected. I mean, there's not really much else in the way of how else to develop a big board. And yeah, Hogger's going to come down now for sure. He's just got to get something in the way. Forsen having to pay 8 life to deal with this first Giant too. He's already falling short on life. Let's see what D2 picks up. This next draw is pretty critical. Gosh, if that was Shadow Flame.
Yep, Shadow Flame to clear the board, smack your opponent down, have lethal next turn.
I don't want to think about those things.
It'd be pretty devastating. He still has a really strong card. Still, Twilight Drake against Warrior is great.
Yeah, I mean, once they fail to have a removal spell for the second guy, the floodgates feel like they're open. You always have Brawl in mind, but his backup plan to Brawl is pretty darn strong, I'd say.
Well, for now, Hogger actually had some pretty good use. Assuming he doesn't get soul fired.
I'd like to see him.
He's gonna soul fire Hogger.
Yeah,
that's too bad.
I'd like to see him. I didn't want him to life tap. That was the one thing I didn't want him to do, but it's fine. Oh yeah, Jiraxis. Is anyone surprised by that? That's the law of Soulfire. If you have Jiraxis in hand, then Soulfire discards Jiraxis. If not, then it discards Doomguard. Even if you don't have Doomguard in your hand, it discards Doomguard.
Is it time for the YOLO rag?
Well, it's got one really bad target unless he chooses to use his attack into this Twilight Drake. I don't even know if this is like a winning play. It's just like something that hits the board and you hope it ends well.
It's a play. He wants to hit the giant. No!
Oh my gosh, it goes directly for face, and that is a huge swing in this game. Molten Giants are active. D2's got his own Ragnaros.
Oh
This
boy.
game is looking really bad for Forsen.
Oh man, I don't even want to look anymore. He doesn't have the guaranteed kill, but he can go
Well,
for a 50-50 to just
yeah,
win the
well, he
game.
has an effective kill on this. So, like, say he puts 8 points of damage to the face, and Ragnaros is on the board. If Ragnaros hits Ragnaros or the face, like either of those targets are just totally fine.
Right, but then
Yeah, so this is just a big leverage point.
yeah, I think you just play Ragnaros. You don't need to play Molten Giants because then you give Brawl to be a potential
Yeah, there's not even any
winner.
reason to play it.
Yeah.
Just now they're active. So even if Forsen manages to recover from this nightmare scenario, D2's got 2 Molten Giants and then a Taunter to follow that up. It's just so bad. Such a bad situation to be in. This is why all those removal spells are so important. This is one of the reasons I think I don't want to mulligan Shield Slams, because this is the scenario you're trying to avoid, is them kind of snowballing the game out of control with 1 or 2 of these minions.
Oh man. Well, here's the 50-50 to win the game and go up 2-1 in the series. D2 thinking about a second if he wants to play Molten Giants, but I don't think you do.
Oh, yeah, you don't need to. Ragnaros comes straight for the dome. 2-0 for D, or 2 games to 1 now for D2 on the back of an extremely good handlock draw, dismantling everything. That right,
We're
game
expecting
4.
We're expecting Forsen to do well here, but we've also seen great draws from D2 in the past to deal with the Hunter.
Yep. This looks like a really good draw, but again, we saw how D2 won the first handlock game. It was with an Ancient Watcher and then a Silence really early on. So this hand could be like deceptively powerful, because if he wants to life tap in his first couple of turns to make sure that he can get to his Mountain Giants, it really puts a big hurt on his ability to actually affect the early game, and you can see he's aware of that in this matchup. So no surprise to see him play to get rid of Molten Giant, because he has to play minions early on. So he's already started off strong. This Ancient Watcher, I think it's pretty likely to get coined out here, and then Sun Fury Protected on turn 2.
Yep. I completely agree. I think you need to stop the damage as fast as you can. You have ways you can follow it up too on turn 4. You can play a reasonable sized Azure Drake, Faceless Manipulator, a taunt that comes out on the following end. D2 has a pretty decent hand, but now on the flip side, part of the reason why the hand worked before was because he could take initiative on the board and he could attack the face and add some damage in. Everything he has right now is very reactive and anticipating what your opponent has.
This Animal Companion is so important. That's a pretty good one right now, I'd say.
Kodo. Oh man, he can snipe these 2/3s, Defender of Argus and the Sun Fury Protectors.
Curious how much that's going to matter. Okay, here's something interesting to think about too. Oh my gosh, he picks up an Iron Beak Owl to deny a trap. That's a major deal. Every little thing really adding up to a lot so far. And this is going to be Twilight Yeti.
So you were gonna ask me a question?
Was I going to ask you a question?
No. Were you gonna ask me a question?
I don't remember.
You said, "Here's a question," and then you said, "Oh, Iron Beak."
Oh, well, I think it was before. I think it was before just the draw playing itself for one reason or another.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Well, Forsen getting the snipe on the Sun Fury Protector, and that way doesn't have to worry about freezing trap and being able to be really effective. Sludge Belcher is a pretty powerful draw.
Wow, he just calls it out too. He's like, "Hey, if that's freezing trap, you got me." Now he's aware that that's snake trap.
No, he saw it in the previous turns when he was attacking with the Sun Fury Protector.
Did he really?
Yes. Does this Leok change anything? Does Unleash the Hounds become slightly better? Maybe.
I missed that. Gosh, Unleash the Hound. Everything feels so brutal right now. He's going to have to overkill almost anything he does, except for kill command. I think he should just be kill commanding.
Kill command is your...
I don't understand the purpose of this right here. Like you're still overkilling this, and like
It's because you keep.
I mean, I guess it's fine. Yeah. You also deal your Kodo a lot of damage too, though.
Which is okay. He still has what? The snake trap, right? So it's Shadow Flame.
Yeah.
But you still have the snake trap, so that way you can perhaps retaliate. But then now there's Shadow Flame to clear everything. So.
Wow, this is a really peculiar spot. I'm curious how much race potential D2 has. Like, can he just attack for 4 and then Faceless Manipulator is 4/5?
That's a tough call. He is sitting at a much more comfortable health than what you normally expect on turn 6. So I think he can afford to Faceless and
Wow.
just be a little bit more aggressive.
Wow. This is something you don't see every day.
Now do you Freezing Trap? Suppose so.
Yep. He's going full. Oh my gosh, both these players just racing each other. No thought of attacking their opponent's minions anymore. And this could get kind of ugly for D2 now. I imagine he's going to kind of wall up behind these guys and sit tight for a little bit. Oh, he draws a Molten Giant.
It's not bad at all. Molten Giant, it fits the range right here.
So he's going to Shadow Flame
Shadow
if he's making
Flame.
this plane. Yeah. Which is, I think... I don't know if that's the best play or not.
It's giving 2 charges to the bow.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm not sure if it's the best.
He also can Farseer Shadow Flame, keep his Jake healthy.
Yeah, but then he loses the Leok's still there.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so he goes forward to the dome,
Oh,
Shadow
that's
Flame
so
Cess, and then
annoying.
Earth Rings himself.
That's pretty annoying. I suppose that's what you have to do then.
Yeah. It still looks like he's coming up pretty far ahead. Like, if Forsen deals him too much damage, he's just going to be able to play Molten Giant and then taunt up behind the Sunfree Protector. And then Forsen's going to hero power him down really close. Oh my gosh, and that's got to be one of the worst draws in his deck. Does he kill the Earthen Ring or does he attack his face? If he puts his opponent too low, he's going to activate Molten Giant.
Yeah, he's got
That's something to
charges with
think
his bow
about.
for a while too.
Yeah.
It's another
I
body
agree
for a
with that.
taunt too, right? That's another body for a taunt.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
and
another
thing.
Farseer.
D2 is starting to run away with this match, by the way. This is really bad news for Forsen. Leopard Gnome's not it. I think he's got to go all in at this point and just kind of hope his opponent doesn't have a way to taunt up. But then he's also got to think about how to play around Jiraxxus, which I don't think he can play around both. I think he's just got to hope his opponent's hand is full of
But
utility
that's
stuff
gonna do
that's
it,
making impact.
right? Jiraxxus is lethal.
Yep.
And D2 is going to take the championship of Battle of the Best.
Well,
despite
still-
being down 0-2.
he's got the
in the
option to
series
kill
overall.
command. This 3/3. Wow, look at
Oh.
Forsen. He's going to try to live one more
Wow.
turn. I think D2 can basically close this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So his opponent would have to have a beast and a kill command next turn to deal him 14 damage. So outside of Leroy Jenkins, he's not really dying to anything. But if he plays Defender of Argus, his opponent's got to have something like Hunter's Mark or a Silence, or even like a beast and 2 kill commands afterwards. I like this play a lot. This puts your opponent in a very precarious situation. If they don't deal with this Molten Giant, they're dead to Jiraxxus next turn. He draws Hunter's Mark,
Oh, man.
but he doesn't have a way to kill this Defender of Argus still.
Oh, you're right. This Defender of
Oh.
Argus,
My gosh, and Forsen is about to
He's
face
2
Jiraxxus.
damage off lethal.
Oh my gosh. Replaces the bow,
Wow.
and Jiraxxus is going to finish this game. This
You
is
face Jiraxxus.
Eredar, Lord of the Burning Legion. Let's see how many emotes get thrown out here. This is what we've been waiting for all tournament, and look at that beautiful, handsome man. Forsen's not even going to allow it. He's just going to concede. Oblivion! He spams it over and over again. Wow, unbelievable. D2's able to pick 2 games off of Hunter with hand lock.